나반다. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to this Sunday service this morning. So today we are celebrating something special, right? Yes? Today is a special day. We are celebrating birthday for someone who is important for us. So that's who? Not me. Whose birthday we are celebrating today? Yes, our founder Shinran Shonin's birthday. So he was born in which year? 1173. Yes, 1173, May. Date? May 21st, yes. May 21st. So please remember that, 1173, May 21st, 1173, that's our founder Shinran Shonin's birthday. Then today, I think when you are coming into the temple, I think you saw the wisteria. Wisteria, that's just beautifully blooming now. So thank you, Irene Sensei is bringing those beautiful wisteria. Then, because this time of the year wisteria is blooming, sometimes we call Shinran Shonin's birthday also Fuji Matsuri. Fuji Matsuri means wisteria festival. So that's another, sometimes people use that word Fuji Matsuri for the Shinran Shonin's birthday, Gotan-e. Then also, this is kind of coincidence, but our Honganji also use the wisteria for the crest. Those who are wearing the okesa, Monto Shikisho, I think most of your Monto Shikisho has wisterias, right? So that is, about 150 years ago, Honganji started using those wisteria crest. So when Lady Kujo, Kazuko Kujo, married to one of our Gomonshu, Kozui Otani Gomonshu-sama, so this was originally the Kujo family's family crest. So then, when she married into the Honganji Otani family, she brought the wisteria to the Honganji. Then Honganji, our organization, started using the wisteria. Oh, now one thing you have get the knowledge. So then, but wisteria is not only the crest which we are using. How many other crests? Wisteria is one. Then sometimes we also use, how do you pronounce this? Polonia. Then kiku, chrysanthemum, sometimes. Then the crane, the bird crane. Then even the wisteria, different design of wisteria sometimes we use. So I think nowadays this is most important, most famous wisteria crest for the Honganji which we use, but there are other crests we use sometimes. Then of course some in the United States, BCA especially, also Wheel of Dharma sometimes we use as a crest. I think the service book, no? No. Okay. Some other place you may find a Wheel of Dharma sometimes. One of my okesa has instead of wisteria, Wheel of Dharma. It's used for the one of my okesa. So, long time ago in Japan, they didn't have any tradition to celebrate someone's birthday. Not only, founder Shinran Shonin's birthday, but, there's no tradition to celebrate someone's birthday. But this is also about 150, 200 years ago, when, Japan was closed country. Then the Meiji era tried, open the country to having Western cultures, Western coming into Japan, then learning lots of Western culture traditions. Then also some Buddhist ministers were sent to Europe to study, their tradition, their culture, their developed country at that time. So to education, some ministers were sent to Europe to learn whatever they are doing. So then those ministers experienced two big celebration events. Can you guess what these are? Christmas, Easter. Oh, that's a good idea, right? Maybe we should, learn this tradition. We can use that tradition for Japan, Jodo Shinshu. Then Gotan-e started. So, of course, there are so many things to learn from the countries in Europe, but this is one of the things we learned from the Christian culture, Christian tradition. So then, old records say Shinran Shonin was born on April 1st, 1173. But at that time, still using the lunar calendar. So then, about 150 years ago, Japan started using the Western calendar, then converted to the Western calendar. Then Shinran Shonin's birthday was set on May 21st. Some other tradition, like a Higashi Honganji or some other school, they are still celebrating Shinran Shonin's birth on April 1st, using the lunar calendar. So it is depends, which calendar we use. So then at the temple, at the Honganji, they started, because this is, I would say, something new compared to Honko service or Higan service. They have been conducting these services maybe hundreds of years, right? But Gotan-e literally newer service which we celebrate and officiate. So that's why, something different. When you go to visit the Honganji, you can experience something different, like lots of choir, music, tea ceremony, some prayer performance, sometimes Japanese traditional performance, like if you know no performance, they do. Then, of course, gagaku music. So these fun events also scheduled during the Gotan-e season. Then, of course, Seattle Betsin, we have lunch. So we celebrate Shinran Shonin's birth to eat. That's important. Not only that, you can see, today I set the uchishiki and the mizuhiki tablecloth. So I think those who came to the Hanamatsuri service, I used this for the Hanamatsuri service in the gym. However, this is the first time I set this uchishiki cloth in the Naijin. So this is a brand new, so really beautiful. When you come up to the incense offering, you can carefully see this uchishiki. Also, I'm wearing the shiki, a special cloth, for the this service. So as I mentioned, in Japan, there's no tradition to celebrate someone's birthday. But of course, nowadays, people celebrate, people's birthday a lot, But, contrary to celebration of the birth, in Japan, they cherish the date of death. They schedule the memorial service. The Honko service also schedules Shinran Shonin's date of death. So date of death was more important, people cherish in Japan. So in Buddhism or Jodo Shinshu, the moment of death is the moment of birth in the Pure Land, attaining enlightenment. Kind of auspicious occasion. Oh, this person is now becoming a Buddha. So this is the auspicious, joyful occasion. The moment of birth, maybe when I use a Buddha's teaching, moment of birth is beginning of suffering, right? So because our Buddha's teaching, it says life is suffering, birth, getting old, sickness, and death. Birth is really the beginning of suffering. But, as a human beings, as ordinary beings, I don't think that way. Death is the time for suffering, or, this is a time to have a sad occasion because we have to part from someone we love. Then the moment of birth is really an auspicious occasion because we are able to encounter, we can meet the baby, new life. So that we think this is an auspicious occasion. So I still remember, of course, when my son was born, of course, almost 10 years ago already. So the morning when he was born, of course, I went to the hospital. Then at the entrance, I checked in, right? At the table, I was asked, boy or girl? Oh, boy. Then they said, the person who said, he said, oh, congratulations on your grandson. I never forget. I never forget. So that's really unforgettable memories, touching, unforgettable memories. So, I'm talking about birth and death. We have to, it is nice to have both understanding, the Buddhist understanding and lay person, ordinary person's understanding. So it is nice to have both. Then when I'm thinking about birth and death, one Shinran Shonin's wasan's and poem came up in my mind. So he says, the ocean of birth and death, of painful existence, has no bound. Only by the ship of Amida's universal vow can we, who have long been drawing, unfailingly be brought across it. So this is Shinran Shonin's wasan. 生じの深いほとりなし、久しく沈める我らをば、皆偶然の船の水を乗せて必ず渡しける。This wasan, this poem is saying, so we are in the ocean of birth and death. We are in the ocean of suffering. So big wave may come. But we don't have to worry because we are in the Amida Buddha's ship of Amida Buddha. This boat, for sure, is taking us to the destination where our loved one is. So this is our founder Shinran Shonin's teaching. We don't know when we are living this life. We don't know what kind of wave, big wave. We don't know what is going to happen. Everyone may be experiencing, the different things, different wave. So I am 48 years old right now. I think I experienced many things, but still probably from now on, something new, something I never experienced maybe happen to me. Maybe next year, 10 years from now, I don't know when. It could be tomorrow. We don't know. When I think that way, when I experience something I haven't experienced, big wave comes, I remember these wasans. The ocean of birth and death, of painful existence, has no bound. Only by the ship of Amida's universal vow can we, who have long been drawing, unfailingly be brought across it. Once we are born in this world, we are all in the Amida Buddha's boat, Amida Buddha's ship. Then we are traveling together. Then the moment, the time when our life ends, we are Amida Buddha's boat taking us to the Amida Buddha's Pure Land. We are living that kind of life. Are you enjoying the Pure Land cruise? We are all in the same ship, same boat. I don't know those who went to the Alaska cruise. You compare Alaska cruise, Pure Land cruise, which do you prefer? I've never been to Alaska cruise, I don't know. But honestly, I enjoy this Amida Buddha's boat, Amida Buddha's ship, Pure Land cruise. I really appreciate it. Sometimes we may think, oh, am I really in the Amida Buddha's ship, Amida Buddha's boat? Oh, did I leave in between? So and that, when you think that way, it's still okay. When you think that way, put your hands together, recite Namo Amida Butsu, then you can confirm, oh, we are in the Amida Buddha's ship. We are together. So thank you again for attending this Gotan-e service today. So today we are celebrating Shinran Shonin's birthday. So the actual day is May 21st. May 21st. So even at home, you can celebrate Shinran Shonin's birthday. Please do something even small, something special to remember, to honor our founder Shinran Shonin's birth on May 21st. Thank you again for attending this service today. To conclude my Dharma message, please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, 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 Namanda.